I call all these trophy places, and they're like, "What?" I'm like, "I know, just And I found some on Amazon, but they were going to be a while, and they were like 6 inches tall. And I'm like, "Dude, if I could just get a piston and rod,
Yeah, I know, right?
that would be awesome." Hey, man, you might get it back, dude. You put a supercharger on that thing, it comes
Maybe.
right back to you.
Maybe. Yeah.
All right, cheers.
Cheers.
I'm already halfway in. Yeah. So we should start by saying this was not my idea. I do not want people to think I built a trophy so someone could hand it to me. This was 1,000% your idea. You called me on it, but let me explain what this is. This is going to be like the Stanley Cup. This is not something that...
Oh, do I get to sign it?
No, shit no. I don't even know where you put it.
Everybody who's ever won the Stanley Cup has their name on the Stanley Cup.
This is not going to be exactly like the Stanley Cup. That would be good. If I had thought about that, I would have had a place where we could have done it. You know what? Maybe I will redesign it so you can sign it. But again, this is going to be more like the Stanley Cup. This is not something that one person gets to keep. If anybody, ends the year with the fastest Delorean, this is then theirs. And when you gave me the idea to do this, part of me, I was having trouble figuring out how we were going to get other DeLorean owners to race their cars. Because, like I talked to Robert Cunningham, and he's really apprehensive about doing it, and I'm thinking, this is going to be really worthless if nobody else attempts to do this. So now at least it's a trophy, as silly as it is, but that is a real piston. I don't know what it's from. I think the guy said it was a Chevy. Really nice guy. He just gave it to me.
Pretty large. Yeah.
Yeah, he just handed it to me. But that was perfect. You had an issue. Can you say what's happened to your car?
Yeah. I mean, so I've done a lot of work on the transmission and got pretty comfortable with the.
Right. You beefed it up.
Yeah, I beefed it up, and unfortunately, I always, I said, okay, I fixed this problem. Man, I wonder what the next weak point is in the transmission. Just wondering, someday maybe I'll find it. I finally found it. So
because this is something that I'm going to have to worry about a lot too. Because I'm going to get this car a week from today, actually.
Yeah.
I get it back. And you know what's going to happen. Somebody was like, okay, no, I want to feel how good this is. And in your brain, you're like, do I punch it?
I owed Dave Swingle from Delorean Motor Company Midwest a ride. I've owed it to him for at least 5 years since he helped me back in 2011 and 12 when I was doing my swap. And that was finally the opportunity to say, hey, let's go for a ride. And just, the excitement got the better of me.
So did you just floor it in first? Like just...
I mean, I pretty hard. And I mean, lit the tires up. And just, the DeLorean stock gear ratio in first gear is very low. So it takes you through the RPM band pretty quickly. And so, I mean, I made it all the way through first gear before the tires were even locked up to the pavement. And so the rev limiter that the LS has, that I have, is set at 6,200. It started cutting out, which meant the wheels started locking up. So all of a sudden you go back and forth between the engine driving the shafts and the wheels driving the shafts. So that's this really rough alternating load. Meanwhile, I'm like, oh crap, I'm hitting the rev limiter. I got to shift into second. So I'm trying to jam it into second at this time. It's just really bad.
And you weren't even moving.
Well, I mean, we're, kind of scooting down the road. I wasn't at a standstill burnout.
Right.
So the lesson is, if you're going to do a burnout, either hang out at 4,000 RPMs. You can do a burnout at 4,000 RPMs. You don't have to keep flooring it. Or if you're going to launch it, let the tires lock up.
Yeah.
And then lastly, shift in time.
Right. So now you unfortunately broke.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that the shaft got dislodged did end up shearing that shaft. Now, I was smart enough to have multiple of those shafts made.
Right.
Why buy one when you can buy, half a dozen?
Right.
At, 6 times the cost.
Yeah, this is the issue that I'm running into with, I would love it if there were 15 contenders that were working on their cars, doing quarter-mile races, sending new videos, and we actually have a working, breathing site.
Yeah.
But the second you speak to these owners, they're like, I'm not fucking doing that to my car.
Yeah.
Like, because that's not it's not a nice thing to do to your car. You are beating the hell out of it on a quarter mile.
Yeah.
Granted, it's only 11, 12 seconds, but you're beating the hell out of it.
Yeah.
And do you want to do that to your car? And if it's a car you're just cruising down the road with and you enjoy to drive.
Yeah.
I get it. Anyway, enjoy it. I'm very sorry that you had it for 6 seconds. Listen,
right?
There's a chance.
Hey, you never know.
You could have it again. You never know. I mean, once you have all your issues, have you ever thought of like? I mean, I knew if somebody beats me, I would think about adding a supercharger.
Oh, I mean, I definitely have done the research on the supercharger I would get, what it would take. You know, since I've got the LS1, my head setup is a little bit different, but I've already got, everything mapped out as, okay, I would need these plates to adapt the intake manifold, then I could put this supercharger right up on top. It's just, now we're talking a couple $1,000s.
It's
and
$2,000-3,000, yeah.
Yeah,
no, I know.
So but yeah, I don't know. So we'll see.
No, listen, nothing would make me happier than in a year me going, fuck you! You just cost me $3,000, and we move back and I try it again. I wanted this to be a community because I felt such a lack of community.
Yeah.
With first of all the Back to the Future community, which you've read the threads. It's not a happy group.
Yeah.
And then just the stock DeLorean people who hate us, who think what we're doing is some sort of blasphemy.
Yeah, man, you're like in this. You're hated because of the engine but for the conversion.
I was like so happy to go back. 2 years later, I took 2 years off. I thought I'm going to come back. I'm going to do something that's just DeLorean related, has nothing to do. And still people are like, it's just like, and again, DeLorean didn't make a stock engine. Shut up. Like, I will never understand this talking point for as long as I live.
Yeah.
He was not happy with that engine.
Yeah.
He did what he had to do to get the car off the line.
Yeah.
He knew he fucked up. He was grabbing money any way he could. He was doing coke deals. He's just trying to keep the business alive. He wasn't like, boy, I'm so proud of this PRV engine.
God, you're gonna get eaten up for that.
But he would be the first to tell you.
If you for a second think that, John DeLorean, who, is famous for putting the big block in the Tempest and creating, the Le Mans and the GTO, was in any way, shape, or form happy with a 2.8 liter, PRV V6. Come on.
Did you see what happened with me shipping it?
Oh no, what happened this time? You didn't use the same company, did you?
Dude, no, I said I'm going to a different company. So I go to a different company, and all of these are dispatchers. They basically take your information, put it on a site, people blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
So I was waiting, and we're getting close. It's close to Friday. I mean, in order for this to happen on time, it had to be picked up on Friday. The guy lowballed me on a quote. He got it like a couple $100 less. So he's like, basically, he bid it for like 44 cents a mile instead of 46 cents a mile. So there's a chance I wouldn't get it. So I'm waiting. I get a call, and he's like, we got somebody. And he goes, let me send you the pictures.
No way. It's not the same guy, is it?
It's the exact same man.
What? The same guy that shipped it to Columbus?
The exact same guy.
How is that?
With the exact same car.
Does this guy just make this run between LA and Columbus?
I think it was just a random moment in life. So first I was going to be like, hell no. And then I sat for a second and I said, okay, that's a funny story, first of all, right? Like in my head, I'm like, the fact that it's the chances. God. And secondly, the guy was extremely responsive. Anytime I would text him or call him, he would immediately respond. He told me exactly where it was throughout the entire trip. It got there on time. He helped he was just a nice guy. Like, if I really didn't want a hard case, I would have called him directly. But again, what are the chances he's coming that way? It's just one of those 1 in a million, or maybe 1 in 10,000, I guess. So yeah, that's who's picking it up on Friday, and here's hoping. I gotta be stressed again for 4 or 5 days.
Oh man, do you think? So have you already been in contact with him?
Yeah, I texted him. I said,
"Hey, you're gonna take it back."
I said, guess who I am? He's like, I know exactly who you are, and he gave me a smiley face. And I said, well, now you get to hear what it sounds like coming back on the truck.